This is a Linux shell. If you have a Windows shell, you're going to find you lack some of the capabilities that is built into Linux. You have to install a program called, I think the most popular one is called PuTTY. Or there's lots of other SSH clients. You need to install some SSH client, one of which is called PuTTY. And there are other SSH clients that you might prefer. And you can install any one you want. If you've got a Linux box, it's built in because they assume you want to do SSH. I'm going to SSH, which stands for Secure Shell, meaning right now I'm using the shell which is connected to my computer. I'm going to connect it to my username at turing.uark.edu. When I do, it asks me for my password, which I hopefully remember. Nope. Yes, okay. And when you type in your password, now notice my prompt changed from Mike at IdeaPad. Huh, I never even noticed the name of my laptop is IdeaPad. What a shame. I've owned this thing for like a decade and I haven't even renamed it yet. Okay, anyway, now the prompt says Gashler at Turing. Turing is the name of Alan Turing, is one of the fathers of computer science. If you don't know that, then you kind of missed the history of computer science. We named one of our servers after him. And I am now in my home directory on Turing. You all have a home directory on Turing too, so you can SSH into your Turing account and you can use your UARK password and you can get in just fine. Inside of here, there's a folder named public_HTML, HTML. And whatever you have in there is on the web. And I have a bunch of garbage in here. Let's make a new thing in here. Let's make a testpage.html, vim testpage.html. So I'm editing, in fact, I'm not going to use vim, I'm going to use Pico testpage.html. The reason I'm using Pico is it's a simple editor. Vim is a nasty, horrible, complex one that you should never try to learn unless you absolutely have to. Or unless you're a smart person and want to look cool. Vim has a lot of features that make your life easy. Vim and Pico are both editors that can run inside of a secure shell. If you want to use one of your pretty graphical editors, you can't really do it remotely. Right now I'm editing on Turing. I'm not on my laptop here. I'm secure shelled over to Turing. And so that's why I'm using an editor like this. So I'm going to make a web page. What should I put on it? Okay, I have made a web page. I'm going to save my changes. Now, if I do ls, there's now this testpage.html sitting in my public_HTML folder on my account on Turing. I'm going to come over here to my web browser and go to csce.uark.edu/tilde Gashler. Tilde is that squiggly line symbol. It's just below your escape key or on your escape key, one of those. If you do csce.uark.edu/tilde your username / name of the file you just made, I made a web page and it's on the web. The whole world can now see this page. I have now exposed my silliness to the universe. So now you know how to make a website, and now you can start that business you've always wanted to start by writing a Mario AI and sticking it on the web and selling it for thousands of dollars to everybody that stumbles across your web page by typing in the magic URL. Okay. There you go. I made a web page and I put it on the web, and now you know how to do it. Now, sometimes editing remotely is kind of a pain. So I'm going to type in exit. Now I'm back on my laptop. I'm going to, instead of using SSH, I'm going to use SCP. That means secure copy. And what I have just done is I've copied that file that was on Turing down to my laptop right here. See, secure copy, my username at name of the machine, colon, and then following the colon, I do a path to the file. Remember, it was in my, tilde means my home directory. It was in my public HTML folder, and I called it testpage.html, and then I gave it a destination, dot, which means right here. So I copied that file down to my local machine. Now I can edit it with my favorite GUI text editor. And make important changes to my file. Now I'm like totes centered. Now I'm going to copy this back, testpage.html, and I'm going to copy it to my username at turing.uark.edu/colon/public_HTML. Now I just copied that page that I edited back up to the Turing server, and now that it's up there on Turing, I'm going to go back to my web browser and hit refresh. And when I do, hi mom, I'm like totes centered. Why did I say that? That is not even, I don't know. I can't think of anything better to say right now. But there you go. We learned HTML. We learned how to copy things onto a Linux server and back down from a Linux server and edit them remotely on a Linux server. Now you, too, can put stuff on the web. Okay, that's all great, but you don't have anything you want to put on the web, so now we're going to learn JavaScript. Once you learn JavaScript, think of JavaScript as the language that runs inside of a web page. If you can write programs that run inside of a web page, what can you do? You can get your code onto anybody's computer that can click on your link. You could write a Bitcoining mining operation in JavaScript, stick it on your web page, persuade 1,000 people to visit your site, and while they're looking at this picture of a donut swinging over Homer's head, you'll be secretly mining Bitcoins using their computing resources, and the Bitcoins will go back to your computer and you can make $1 million if only you were the first person ever to think of that. You're not. Everybody's doing it. And in fact, half the web pages you visit these days, you ever visit a web page on your laptop and you notice your CPU fan starts spinning? Guess what they're doing? Yeah, they've got JavaScript running in the background and it's doing something nasty that you don't like. So these days, watch the fan on your laptop. It's a great way to know when you're visiting a website where you shouldn't be. Okay. And by shouldn't be, I mean that's doing something you wouldn't approve of. Okay. Here's some other page I made. Let's open this one in my web browser. It says hi, and then yo, and then there's a button, and if I push it, it says yo again. Okay, that's a really stupid web page. But let's look at the source. Nice and small, right? Cool. Small is good. Now we can learn it quickly. Inside HTML, in addition to CSS being one language that you can embed inside of the HTML language, JavaScript is yet another language you can stick inside of an HTML language. So all kinds of languages. The web is all about a stack of protocols and languages. There's lots of stuff that you can nest inside of stuff that you can nest inside of other stuff on the web. And JavaScript is just one of them that you need to know about. In HTML, if you make a tag named script, you can put inside of this script tag a script. And there are a number of languages that HTML supports, and almost none of them are used except for JavaScript. And that's only mostly true. Okay. Here we specify the type of the language we're going to use, JavaScript. And you can actually specify a file name. I think you do source equals some file.js is the convention. Is it source or is it like that? Oh, good. Got it right. Okay. But I'm just going to do it inline, meaning I'm going to stick it inside of this tag because I'm lazy and it's easy. So my JavaScript goes from here to there. Everything else is HTML. Get what you're looking at? Okay. So in my HTML file, I have some text that says, you know you want to push that button right there. And right here I have what's called a form. Form is an HTML thing that lets you put buttons and other fields in an HTML file. So I have here that says input type equals button. What do you think that does? It makes a button. Let's look at that web page again. See, there's a button. And you see how it says push me on it? See what the button says? See the text? Okay. Well, this line right here is what makes the button. And you see this little attribute here that says onClick equals sayo. Sayo is not a built-in thing that is used. That's a function I wrote right up here in my JavaScript program. And you see what my call does. I say alert yo. What do you suppose alert does? It pops up a dialog box that says whatever message you want to say. Okay? And I have this other function here, which I have written using a different notation, just to be obnoxious and annoying. See how here I say function sayo, and here I say let say hi equal parenthesis equals greater than. That's another way of saying I'm going to declare a function in JavaScript. JavaScript is a messed up, twisted, weird language. Sorry. It's just the way it is. You can write things in all kinds of ways. And I'm showing you two different ways to write functions here, but basically I wrote two functions. And you're going to have to get used to not knowing exactly how to do everything, because that's how languages these days work. There's so many things you can do, you'll never know it all. You just kind of look for examples and start kludging the pieces together and make it all work. I could have just written function say hi like that. In fact, let's do that just because it's simpler. And now I'll come refresh my page. And it doesn't work because I made a mistake. I have an extra curly brace. And we've just learned something weird about JavaScript. If you make any mistake anywhere in your code, any mistake, the whole thing's just going to maybe not work. Or sometimes it'll halfway work and halfway not work. JavaScript is not your friend. It hates you. There is no compiler. It will not tell you what line there's a problem on. It's up to you. How are you going to write in JavaScript? Very slowly, and you're going to test after every bloody line you touch. Why? Because, oops, I said bloody again. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to know where your bugs are, and it's going to be a big pain. Make backups when it's working. Be careful, or it'll burn you. Okay, so I'll refresh my page. Now it says hi and yo, and if I push the button, it says yo. Still working. Why does it say hi at the very start of my program? Yeah, see in my body tag, I have an onload equals say hi. As you might guess, that means when this page loads, call this function. So if you were writing that Bitcoin mining operation web page, how would you do it? You'd have a body onload equals go mine Bitcoins, and then it would call some function that sits there mining Bitcoins while they're sitting there staring at your web page. So this is how you kick off JavaScript from the very start. This is how you kick off JavaScript for when you push a button. Personally, I think it's obnoxious to do something in the background, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to get rid of this whole say hi function. Now it's basically a hello world program. Here's my web page. You can see it. And every time I push me, it says, yo, you are now JavaScript programmers. But of course, you're not going to want to just alert stuff. Alert's kind of the system out print line of JavaScript, right? There's another thing I think called console.log. Another message. I've got to do this so I can say it. And another one. Okay, had to be done. Now, if I refresh my page, if I just pushed it without refreshing, I'd be running the old code. Now that I refreshed, I'm running the new code. I say push me, it says yo. Where did the console log messages go? The console. Where's the console? Not there. If you go in your browser, and every browser is different, but they have all got something like this somewhere in them. There's a web developer tab, and in here, there's the web console. And if I open up the console, there's all my messages.